back to you in just a moment. Air Marshal Ravi Kapoor, your thoughts on the same, sir. I have to understand from you because, I'm speaking to people in the forces, speaking to people in the police. It's a interesting perspective that we're getting here because, of course, out on the roads, people are celebrating the victory, right? Ultimately, yes, there were a lot of calls for a ban, for a boycott initially, but then once a decision was taken by the BCCI that we will participate in the tournament, we will play against Pakistan. We've seen that people went from boycotting the match to actually watching the match and then celebrating the victory as well. But that's just, public for you, that's people for you. I want to understand from your perspective, what did you think of that decision? And now that we have emerged victorious and we've seen our cricketers doing whatever they could to show solidarity with the country, should that be the new normal to at least send a very stern message to the world?
Good evening, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. And so the first point is whether we should have participated in Asia Cup or not. Like in military, what happens is we discuss, debate, and then a decision gets taken, and then the mission is executed. And I think that is a template which is followed everywhere, in whichever way. So if BCCI took a decision, I'm sure it must have consulted various other agencies before taking a decision. And once it is on the international arena, and if the direction is to participate, it does not matter whether I like it or I do not like it. Thereafter, it is national pride. And I think what was more important was to communicate to the entire world what did India think about Pakistan. And I think that got conveyed in a very, very overt manner throughout the Asia Cup. The fact that the players behaved in a manner which very clearly sent a signal that all is not business as normal. They did not shake hands, they did not participate in many of those interactions and ceremonies. And those were the clear messages that yes, if we are told to participate, we are participating, but at the same time, we are not going to make it an environment of friendship. And so that coldness between the two nations must continue to be displayed. And I think that was the most important thing. And that is the message that we must send at every appropriate forum. Today is not, we are not in a world of ethical conduct or we can expect ethical conduct from Pakistan. We have to respond to an unethical set of people in a similar manner. There is no point sitting on a high table and then ruining a lost chance. Yes. And so I think the messaging has to be very clear today. And I think it is in this context that the winning of Asia Cup and the messaging that we have done, the signaling we have sent to the entire community or committee of nations, especially Pakistan and its, advisors and its supporters, that we will do everything to thwart your nefarious designs. And that is the message which is important, I think. Playing, not playing is a decision which was well behind us. But once the decision was taken to play, I think the players did a fantastic job in winning the Asia Cup and then displaying the displeasure or their sentiments unequivocally. That is more important.
Yes, Air Marshal Ravi Kapoor, at the same time, sir, a sports person, like I said, is always, there's a lot of pressure. There's anyway, of course, pressure because you're representing the country and there are billions of eyes on you in any sporting tournament. But then in such situations, there's an added pressure. As you pointed out, sir, how critical is it for India to also use some of these platforms, such as cricket and other such platforms, to send out a stern message, not just to the diplomatic and governmental communities of the world, but to the world at large? Because at the end of the day, it's the regular person that's watching a cricket match, and it's regular people who will end up reading on why India did something and what was the reason behind it. And that's how we take our message to a larger global community, that this is a terrorist state and we've played with them because that was a part, a decision that was made by a country. But this is a terrorist state, and we've treated a terrorist state the way it deserves to be treated.
So I think, information warfare or narrative building or strategic communication, you could use any of these terminologies today in messaging to the entire world. And I think it is very important that we have a strategy in that. In fact, even BCCI should have had a strategy where we built up a correct and a very clear narrative, and that narrative kept building up as the tournament went on. And similarly, there will be many other platforms like what we did during United Nations when there was a rebuttal given by our diplomat in United Nations to the speech by the Pakistani Prime Minister. And so there will be many platforms where there will be multiple nations who will be participating. And that is the strategy that must be built up by each agency. It is not a single agency or the job of a single or military or civilian. It is the job of everybody. I think every Indian has a role to play in ensuring that whatever chances or opportunities we get, we must drive home the point that Pakistan is a perpetual liar.
Yes.
Pakistan is an unethical country. Pakistan is a terrorist state, and it does not deserve any kind of help or support from anybody else. And that is a kind of a movement that must come where entire world is sent this message through any platform that is available.
Right, absolutely. Air Marshal Ravi Kapoor, thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast with that perspective.